As the Agricultural Act of 2014 was implemented, the National Cotton Council communicated regularly with members to enhance their understanding of key farm law decisions and deadlines. After the legislation was signed early in the year, the Council immediately scheduled 49 education meetings in 15 Cotton Belt states. In the trade arena, the Council faced adversity after the Turkish Ministry of Economy announced it was investigating imports of U.S. cotton to determine if dumping was occurring in the Turkish market. The Council worked quickly to keep affected members apprised of the situation and to convey industry concerns to the administration and Congress. Fortunately, the U.S.-Brazil dispute in the World Trade Organization was concluded. The U.S. cotton industry had undertaken extensive efforts to resolve this case and offered comprehensive reform of cotton policy as part of the new farm law. Early in the year, the Council issued a statement thanking House Agriculture Committee Chairman Frank Lucas and Ranking Member Colin Peterson for their perseverance in getting farm legislation through the House. The Council said it appreciated the bill's authorization of the Stacked Income Protection Plan, or STAX, a new crop insurance product tailored to cotton, and an important step for achieving a final resolution of the long-standing Brazil WTO case. However, the Council did express the industry's concern about the inclusion of instructions to the Secretary to propose changes in the criteria used to determine eligibility for commodity programs beginning in 2015, and the further reduction in the adjusted gross income eligibility test. The Council also noted that reimposition of limitations on marketing loan benefits could disrupt orderly marketing in times of low prices. Those concerns were also relayed to Senate Agriculture, Nutrition and Forestry Committee Chairwoman Debbie Stabenow and Ranking Member Thad Cochran, in a statement that also commended the pair for their efforts in getting farm legislation through the Senate. The Council commended USDA's Risk Management Agency after it announced that STAX would be available to upland cotton producers through the Federal Crop Insurance Program beginning with the 2015 crop year. The Council also commended RMA after it announced the implementation of the Actual Production History Yield Exclusion, which will be available nationwide for farmers of select crops beginning in spring 2015. When USDA announced the farm law's final crop insurance provisions late in the year, the Council scheduled and conducted 25 STAX farm law workshops across the Cotton Belt to provide its members with in-depth information regarding insurance options for cotton under the Agricultural Act of 2014. The Council also conducted webinars to widen the information distribution. After the House Appropriations Committee announced plans to begin work on the FY15 agriculture spending measure, the Council urged it and the Senate Appropriations Panel to reject any amendments to the FY15 agriculture spending measure that would change the newly enacted Farm Bill's provisions. The Council also urged the inclusion of cost-share funding to USDA's Animal and Plant Health Inspection Service for the Cotton Pests Eradication Program account in the amount of $11.5 million, and full funding for the Market Access Program and Foreign Market Development Program. In letters to several members of California's congressional delegation, the Council urged the House and Senate to work to resolve the differences between S-2198 and H.R. 3964, and work together in the remaining days of the 113th Congress to approve comprehensive drought relief legislation. The Senate Finance Committee approved the Expire Act, a measure that temporarily extended for 2 years a number of expiring tax provisions. The Council joined other members of the Ag Tax Coalition in urging extension of Section 179 and bonus depreciation. Those provisions were included in the package. The Council joined with more than 30 other agricultural trade organizations on a letter to House members supporting H.R. 4413, the Customer Protection and End User Relief Act. The bill also reauthorized the Commodity Futures Trading Commission. The Council also worked with a group that included several agricultural organizations on a letter to House Speaker John Boehner and House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi, in which congressional members were urged to support the targeted truck weight provisions included in Section 125 of the FY15 Transportation, Housing and Urban Development Appropriations Act. The House ultimately passed the bill with no changes to Section 125. During meetings in Geneva, Mark Lang and John McGuire conveyed to WTO officials and ambassadors of C4 sub-Saharan cotton-producing countries key information about the new U.S. farm law's cotton provisions. While there, Deputy U.S. Trade Representative Michael Punk joined Council leaders in a session with the ambassadors of the West African cotton-producing countries. Punk was vocal in his insistence that countries, including China, India, and Brazil, report the level of their agriculture subsidy programs to the WTO as required. Later, the Council submitted comments to the USTR in advance of a public hearing on China's compliance with the WTO. Council Chairman Wally Darnell also testified at the Washington, D.C. hearing. After the U.S. government announced the conclusion of the U.S.-Brazil trade dispute in the WTO, Council Chairman Wally Darnell thanked the U.S. government for its efforts and reiterated that the U.S. cotton industry had undertaken extensive efforts to resolve this case and offered comprehensive reform of cotton policy as part of the new farm law. 8 U.S. cotton industry representatives went to China, Korea, and Japan as part of the 2014 Cotton USA Executive Delegation to discuss a variety of market and trade issues with U.S. cotton customers. The delegation hosted seminars, visited manufacturing facilities, and participated in news media interviews and meetings with Cotton USA licensees. After the Turkish Ministry of Economy announced that it was investigating the imports of U.S. cotton to determine if dumping is occurring in the Turkish market, Council staff, working with staff of the American Cotton Shippers Association and AMCOT, distributed a summary of the investigation and expected next steps to U.S. merchandising firms. Later, Council Chairman Wally Darnell accompanied staff to meetings with administration officials and congressional staff to raise the investigation's profile and communicate the serious risk to continued trade and sales of U.S. cotton to Turkey should anti-dumping duties be applied. The Council consistently conveyed the industry's views on Farm Bill components and its position on numerous other legislative matters. That included arranging interviews with industry leaders and staff and issuing news releases and editorial rebuttals, videos and radio news lines on Farm Bill legislation, trade negotiations, and multiple regulatory and environmental issues, including pollinator issues. The Council continued to disseminate news about the Cotton Leads program, including updates on the program's escalated partnerships, and host the website. The Council continued as an in-kind supporter of America's Heartland, the award-winning national television series celebrating American agriculture, now in its 11th season, and aired on public television and the RFD TV cable and satellite channel. In addition, the Council continued to participate in the Farm Policy Facts Initiative, committed to ensuring American agriculture's long-term success by facilitating meaningful conversations with legislators and consumers about how food and fiber is produced. The Council continued to utilize its website for disseminating information to its members regarding the Agricultural Act of 2014's implementation. A number of technical documents were developed and posted on, ranging from lint contamination prevention materials to cotton flow initiatives. The Council assisted the National Cotton Ginners Association and its member associations on the production of a new video that addressed safety considerations associated with the John Deere round module system. Made available via streaming on the Council website, the video was Volume 6 in a series of instructional videos to train employees and help keep the gin workplace free of injuries. The National Cotton Council remained engaged with EPA and other organizations as EPA released proposed revisions to the Agricultural Worker Protection Standard, an effort that had been underway for more than a decade. Council staff, joined by American Cotton Producers Chairman Bowen Flowers and Monsanto representatives, participated in a session with EPA to express cotton's concerns over the proposed geographic restrictions and mandatory weed resistance label proposals for the herbicide labels for dicamba-traded cotton varieties. The Council joined with other groups in requesting an extension of the 90-day comment period on a proposed rule from EPA and the Army Corps of Engineers that would define jurisdictional waters of the U.S., or WOTUS, under the Clean Water Act. President Obama signed the Water Resources Reform and Development Act into law. That bill, which had been approved overwhelmingly by the House and Senate, authorized the construction of major navigation and flood risk management projects. Moreover, Section 1049 of the law provided farmers and ranchers some relief from EPA's Spill Prevention Control and Countermeasure Rule on farm storage tanks of fuel. The Council continued to be highly involved in pollinator protection activities that challenged crop protection product usage. Among activities the Council monitored was a study headed by the Pollinator Stewardship Council and Pesticide Research Institute, which were encouraging beekeepers to report pesticide-related bee kills and to collect samples for lab analysis without having to wait on official state-led agencies to collect the data. The Council applauded USDA for holding its Varroa Mite Summit, saying in a statement that the forum is a key step for stopping honeybee health decline. The Council participated in the summit, which served as a forum for building collaborative efforts to improve the understanding of what causes bee losses. Later, the Council submitted comments to EPA and USDA, which were soliciting input to assist the Pollinator Health Task Force, charged with coordinating federal agency efforts to improve pollinator health. The Texas Boll Weevil Eradication Foundation Program Director reported to the Council's Boll Weevil International Technical Advisory Committee that the majority of boll weevil captures in Texas continue to be in close proximity to the Rio Grande River bordering Mexico. Reason for optimism was that boll weevil captures on the lower Rio Grande Valley's cotton acres through October 2014 were 67% less than 2013. The Council's Joint Cotton Industry Bale Packaging Committee specifications for cotton bale packaging materials were approved by USDA for packaging 2014 crop cotton for Commodity Credit Corporation loan program purposes. Based on Council board action, USDA was able to utilize EWR Incorporated developed software that provided the agency with the ability to see shipping order information sent by merchants to warehouses, a move aimed at ensuring warehouses are meeting the minimum shipping standard. Specifically, the action allowed USDA to review an audit trail of requested shipping dates provided to EWR Incorporated compared to actual dates shipped and bales made available for shipment data. The Council board also directed staff to develop educational materials for use by appropriate interest organizations with their members. The Council mailed contamination-free cotton flyers to its producer, gin, and warehouse leadership as part of a reminder that preventing lint contamination is everyone's responsibility. The flyer focused on pre-harvest, in-season, and post-harvest steps for preventing contaminants from getting into seed cotton and baled lint. Field to Market, the Alliance for Sustainable Agriculture announced the launch of a new agricultural supply chain program for U.S. commodity crops. That alliance brings together a diverse group of grower organizations, agribusinesses, food, fiber, restaurant, and retail companies, conservation groups, universities, and agency partners to focus on promoting, defining, and measuring the sustainability of food, fiber, and fuel production. The Council-coordinated Belt-wide Cotton Conferences continued its focus on research of new and existing products and technology, and the extending of it to producers through consultants, extension, allied industry, and others directly involved in the decision-making process. Cotton Council International responded to this past year's competitive business environment by revitalizing and relaunching its 25-year-old flagship brand, Cotton USA, and employing a global Cotton USA marketing initiative that highlighted the promise of the industry, purity, quality, and responsibility. CCI remained the largest recipient of matching funds from USDA, undergirding the Council's export promotions arm as it adhered to a successful three-point focus: supply chain development, brand and retailer promotion and support, and industry partnerships development. The Sourcing USA Summit in Arizona, organized in cooperation with CCI, Cotton Incorporated, and USDA's Foreign Agricultural Service, brought together more than 420 leading global sourcing companies to strengthen enduring partnerships. A council leadership team led by CCI Chairman John Birch visited China to gather information from Chinese cotton industry officials and update them on key aspects of the U.S. cotton industry. That delegation was the sixth to visit China since the establishment of the U.S.-China Cotton Leadership Exchange Program by the Council and the China Cotton Association. Celebrities, fashion designers, musicians, and consumers united across Northeast Asia to celebrate their shared love of CCI's Cotton Days in Korea, Japan, Taiwan, and Thailand. CCI President Jordan Lee met with textile industry representatives in those four key U.S. cotton markets. The Cotton Foundation Board of Trustees approved 20 general research projects, totaling $319,500 in funding provided by Foundation Agribusiness members' dues. Approved projects for 2014-15 include studies related to pest management, sustainability, pollinator protection, fiber quality, agronomic practices, and education. The High Cotton Awards program, which celebrated its 20th year, is one of multiple Foundation special projects funded by grants over the dues from the Foundation's 40-plus members. As a founding member, the Foundation continued to support Cotton Leads, a Foundation special project aimed at raising awareness of the responsible growing practices among U.S. and Australian cotton producers, as they operate in a regulatory environment unlike anything faced by the world's other cotton producers. Cotton Leads now has more than 200 partners. That includes many prominent U.S. yarn spinners and textile and apparel manufacturers, suppliers to some of the world's most recognizable brands. Partners also include many of those key retailers and brands, such as Target, Brooks Brothers, and Gerber Children's Wear. They acknowledge that cotton, grown under the strict Australian and U.S. regulatory environments, helps ensure their customers of the firm's commitment to sustainability and traceability in the cotton used in their products. These partners also have the opportunity to support research projects, help disseminate information on best practices, or create important partnerships for continual improvement. Continuing Farm Bill implementation, trade policy, environmental, and regulatory issues will remain priorities for this industry. The Council staff and leadership will actively manage the many challenges that face the industry in the months to come. Strong industry participation in the organization and politically active industry leaders will continue to assure future success for U.S. cotton.